In a world where everyone wants to be seen, silence has become rare. But for those who truly grind, silence isn't weakness, it's a focus. When you're chasing something big, you don't waste time telling the world what you're about to do. You're too busy doing it. Real hustlers understand that talk doesn't build empires. Consistency does. Every word you speak takes energy, and that energy, when redirected into action, becomes progress. Silence is not about hiding. It's about protecting your momentum. It's the art of working in peace while the world sleeps on you. People mistake silence for doubt. They think if you're not loud, you're not confident. But confidence isn't about volume. It's about certainty. It's about knowing what you're building without needing applause. You don't have to explain your every move to people who don't share your vision. The truth is, not everyone deserves access to your process. Some will doubt you, some will copy you, and some will try to discourage you. Silence keeps you immune to all of that. It gives you space to evolve without interference. When you move quietly, you move strategically. You stop seeking validation and you start creating value. You're not performing for attention, you're preparing for impact. You understand that discipline is louder than display. That's why you choose to stay silent. Not because you lack drive, but because your energy belongs to the grind, not the gossip. You realize that results talk in ways words never could. And when the time is right, your work will speak so powerfully that no one will need to be told what you've done. They'll see it. The ones who achieve greatness often walk through seasons of obscurity. They spend years in quiet preparation, building habits, perfecting skills, and mastering patience. During those times, no one's clapping, no one's watching. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Because silence sharpens your discipline. It teaches you to rely on effort, not praise. It strengthens your belief in yourself, even when no one else believes. When you stay silent, you train your focus to be unshakable. You learn to hear your own thoughts clearly, without the noise of opinions and distractions. You stop living for the crowd and start living for the calling. That's when the transformation begins, when you no longer need recognition to move forward. Because when the world finally sees you, they'll think you came out of nowhere. But you'll know, every step was taken in silence. Every moment of focus was building the foundation for what they now call success. Silence was never your weakness, it was your superpower. The difference between dreamers and doers is simple: action. You can talk about your goals all day, post about them, write about them, even tell the world you're coming. But until you move, nothing changes. Talk doesn't build results, execution does. Every great achievement begins when someone decides to stop explaining and start acting. You can't speak your way into success, you've got to grind your way into it. Words might inspire, but it's the work that transforms. Too many people love the idea of success, but fear the silence that comes with doing the work. They'd rather sound busy than productive. They'll tell everyone what they're planning to do. But months later, nothing has changed. That's the danger of too much talk. It gives you the illusion of progress. You feel accomplished just by saying it out loud, but the truth is no amount of words can replace the sweat, the repetition, and the discipline that execution demands. When you act, you build momentum. Every small move, every little effort, it compounds. You don't need to announce your steps. You just take them. Because when the results start to show, they'll speak for you louder than any speech ever could. Nobody remembers the person who talked big. They remember the one who delivered. It's not your promises that define you. It's your performance. When you show up every day and put in the work, your actions tell a story that can't be denied. Action separates the ordinary from the exceptional. Everyone wants to win, but not everyone wants to pay the price. It's easy to talk about hard work. It's harder to live it when no one's watching. But that's where real growth happens. In the quiet moments when you choose to do the hard thing instead of the easy one. When you execute despite being tired. When you push through the boredom. When you commit to consistency. That's when you become unstoppable. There's power in proving through performance. People may doubt your words, but they can't argue with results. Every rep, every page, every hour you invest, it adds up to something real, something visible. And when that day comes, when the results are undeniable, you won't have to say a word. Your work will speak in volumes they can't ignore. Let your hustle be your voice. Let your grind do the talking. Because in the end, the world doesn't listen to those who talk the loudest. It listens to those who show up and execute. The grind that truly changes your life doesn't happen in front of an audience. It happens when no one's watching. It's in those late nights, early mornings, and quiet hours where no one claps for you, no one posts about you, and no one even knows what you're doing. That's where greatness is born. The spotlight doesn't create success. The shadows do. Every small effort, every unseen repetition, every quiet sacrifice is building a version of you the world hasn't met yet. That's why the grind in the dark is sacred. It's where you train your focus, build your strength, and learn who you really are. When the lights are off, excuses disappear. You're left with only your will and your why. The dark doesn't lie to you. It doesn't reward you with likes or applause. It asks one question: how bad do you want it? That's where discipline takes over. Because motivation fades, but discipline stays. It's what keeps you working when the excitement is gone. The grind in the dark is where consistency is tested. It's where you build habits that carry you through the hard seasons. Most people quit because they want recognition too soon. They want to be noticed before they've earned it. But the truth is, you can't skip the dark and expect to shine in the light. You have to earn your moment by enduring the hidden process. Every hour you put in when nobody's around is a deposit into your future success. You may not see the return immediately, but it's compounding quietly, building strength, skill, and resilience. And when it finally shows, it will look like an overnight success, but it won't be. It will be the result of every invisible grind that came before it. The light will come. The recognition will follow, but it will only mean something if you've done the work when no one cared. You can't fake mastery. You can't pretend preparation. The dark seasons shape you for the light. They teach you humility, endurance, and focus. They strip away your ego and leave behind the pure desire to grow. That's why the grind in the dark is not punishment. It's preparation. When you finally step into the light, you'll shine because you've earned it. You'll stand strong because the darkness trained you for it. Every unseen moment of effort, every silent battle, every lonely grind, it all adds up. And when the world finally sees you, they'll call it talent, but you'll know it was built in the dark. One of the biggest traps people fall into is chasing validation instead of purpose. They work not to grow, but to be seen. They measure progress by how many people notice instead of how far they've come. But the truth is, you don't need anyone's approval to be great. You don't need the world to clap for you to keep moving. The only validation that truly matters is the one that comes from results. The proof that your consistency paid off. Real success doesn't need to be announced. It shows itself in time. Every time you look for approval, you give away your power. You start living on other people's timelines, moving according to their opinions, and losing sight of your own voice. The moment you need validation to continue, you become dependent on it. But growth requires independence, the ability to move forward even when no one believes, no one sees, and no one supports. You can't build your confidence on applause, because applause fades. People's attention shifts, and if your motivation depends on it, you'll stop every time they stop clapping. You have to get to a place where silence doesn't bother you anymore, where rejection doesn't shake you, and praise doesn't distract you. Because when you stop needing validation, you gain clarity. You start moving with purpose, not pressure. You focus on what you're building instead of who's watching. That's when your actions align with your goals. That's when your grind becomes pure. You're not performing anymore. You're progressing. Validation from others is temporary. One moment they cheer, the next they question you. That's why you must anchor your confidence in your consistency. Every time you show up, when you didn't feel like it, when you weren't motivated, when no one noticed, you validate yourself. You prove your commitment to your vision. And that kind of validation is real because it's earned through effort, not approval. You don't need anyone to tell you that you're capable. You don't need their likes, their comments, or their recognition. What you need is to keep showing up, because your results will speak the language they can't argue with. Let your progress be your proof. Let your consistency be your response. The world may not see you now, but that's fine. They don't have to. Because when the outcome finally shows, it will silence every doubt. You'll realize you never needed their validation. You only needed your own belief and relentless effort to back it up. Patience is one of the hardest lessons in the journey toward greatness, because everyone wants the reward without the wait. We live in a world addicted to speed, fast success, fast results, fast recognition. But the truth is, nothing meaningful happens overnight. Real power, real success, real transformation, they all take time. Every step you take in silence, every moment you spend working while the world overlooks you, is a seed planted deep in the soil of your future. You may not see growth right away, but that doesn't mean nothing's happening. Roots are forming beneath the surface, preparing you to handle the weight of what's coming. Patience isn't weakness, it's control. It's the ability to keep showing up even when you don't see immediate progress. It's trusting that the small things you do today are building something much greater tomorrow. Most people quit because they mistake delay for denial. They stop watering the seed right before it sprouts. They lose faith in the process because they can't see the results yet. But the ones who win are those who keep going quietly, consistently, faithfully, knowing that time is working for them, not against them. Every great story has a waiting season. Every champion spent time in the dark before they ever saw the light. That's because patience builds the strength you'll need once success arrives. If you rush it, you ruin it. Growth that happens too fast collapses just as quickly. The wait teaches you resilience, discipline, and gratitude. It forces you to master the art of persistence. the ability to keep moving when the reward hasn't yet appeared. Patience also protects you. It gives you time to mature, to refine your craft, to understand who you are and what you're capable of. It filters out the noise and distractions that come with rushing. While everyone else is chasing shortcuts, you're building something solid, something that will last. The longer the foundation takes to build, the stronger the structure that stands upon it. That's what makes patience powerful. It transforms waiting into preparation. When your time finally comes, the world will see the flower, but they'll never understand the years of unseen growth beneath the soil. They'll call it luck, but you'll know it was patience. Every quiet day, every unseen hour, every moment of faith when nothing seemed to be working, it was all creating your breakthrough. Because power doesn't come from haste, it comes from endurance. And those who wait with purpose never wait in vain. The loudest statement you'll ever make won't come from your words, it will come from your results. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth when your work can do the talking. The grind doesn't need a microphone, it just needs consistency. When you stay quiet and move with purpose, success becomes your introduction. You don't have to chase recognition, it will find you when the time is right. Because results have a voice that can't be silenced. People may overlook you for a while, but they can't ignore what's undeniable.